frequency. It's all about sound frequency. I'm really trying to impress upon you guys about frequency and vibration. That's what it all is at the end of the day, frequency and vibration. Sound, we know it as sound, but if you hit the right tones and right frequencies, that's the key to everything. Your brain is just like the, so if you get, where's that other book? I think I showed you guys that book on the first one. I don't have. It's it's occult geometry and the science of hermetic motion and number. Did I tell you about that? I told you guys about that book the first day.
Yep.
So again, if you find that book, get it immediately, because there's a lot of, it's not a lot of them. If you find it cheap, really get it, because I think they boosted the price up. But in that book, occult geometry, it talks about the brain. So actually at the end of the book, and so the science of hermetic motion and number. So motion, how energy moves, right? So in the book, it talks about your brain and what your brain actually is. So most people think that you are your brain. Your thoughts come from your brain, and it doesn't. Thoughts are just vibrations and waves that are all around all the time. So whatever thought you think you may have that you originated, you didn't. All you're doing is pulling the thought from the universe, and it's resonating in your brain or in your mind. How does it do that? It does that with the brain. Brain is just like a tuning fork. So the analogy would be, if you picture a piano. So everybody's seen a piano before, and when you hit the key on a piano, if you've seen inside the piano, that's you see a hammer thing striking a very dense chord, right, inside the piano. And then that chord, depending on how tight or how dense it is, it creates a certain sound or vibration, right? Same thing with like a harp or a guitar. When the guitars, the strings on a guitar are very sturdy and strong. And each one has a different, when you strum it, because of the density, because you'll see at the tip of the guitar, you can tighten and adjust the density of the string. When you strum it, it sends out a different vibration, right? So basically what it's doing when it sends that vibration is basically resonating, or when you hear the sound, it's basically your thumb, it's the sound of your thumb coming together with that dense string on the guitar. So equate that to your brain. So there's frequencies all around. This is moving all around us, all infinite frequencies and vibrations, right? So they move so fast, the vibration moves so fast that these things are constantly moving through us. Okay, that's the difference in things. Things with very slow vibration are very dense, like a rock. If you were to look at a rock, it's moving, but its molecules, it's vibrating very slowly. Okay, so it looks like it's not moving. Whereas, light and things of that nature are vibrating very fast, very speed vibration, right? Super fast. So they're constantly moving through us at all times. Same thing with thought. Thought is the highest vibration. It's called tachyon energy. It vibrates so fast that it's moving through you. You can't stop it. But your brain is like a resonating fork. It's like a tuning fork. So as these thoughts are moving through you, your brain, so when everybody's heard of what's called a brain synapse. Does everybody know what that is? A brain synapse?
Yeah.
Okay, so whenever you have a thought, or whenever your thoughts move along certain strands in your brain called synapses, right? There's like strings that look like a web. Okay, inside your brain, it looks like a web. Let me actually, since we're in, let me share the screen so I can pull that up.
So is that kind of what they mean when they say that energy could never be created nor destroyed? Like all the thoughts are just kind of already here, and we're just
right. Yeah. Every vibration you think that. So this is what your brain looks like, right? Inside. All these different centers of your brain. This is where the thought is generated, or usually, and this is called the brain cell right here. And from this brain cell, this stem is called the synapse. and they create different connections. It's like literally like a web in your body, right? So what happens is, let me click on one of these. So these are like these little strands right here would be like the strings on a piano or on a guitar or on a harp. So when the vibrations are moving through us, they move so fast that we can't register what's going on, the thought at all. However, when we start to learn a certain subject, say, let's say it's archaeology or, even dancing or rapping or whatever it is, these strands right here get thicker and thicker, right? They get denser and denser. So now what happens is when these vibrations start to move past these synapses, because it's so dense, you ever see the Flash, right? So the Flash, I don't know if you guys are in the comics, but the Flash can do something by vibrating his body so fast that he can move through solid objects, right? That's the same thing as what thoughts are doing. They move so fast, they're moving through solid objects. However, if you ever seen an episode with Flash where a wall is so thick, sometimes the Flash can't vibrate through that wall because the wall is so thick and dense, he can't move through it. Same thing with the synapse. When you start to learn a certain subject, the more and more you learn about it, it creates the synapse. It makes it thicker and thicker and thicker to now where eventually you don't need to learn anymore. The synapse is so thick, you start to register everything about that subject. All vibrations that have to deal with that subject start to resonate, start to strum on this little thing. And now you start to pull in all the things about that certain subject. That's why certain people, when they hit certain things, they can just start to run off things at a certain, without even thinking about it. They just boom, boom, they start pulling anything in. That's what channeling is called. You're pulling in vibrational energy, and then the brain fiber resonates it. So literally it's just like a tuning fork. That's all your brain is. It's a tuning fork for information.